Hi, and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. We've been gone for a minute, but we're back. New year, but same problems for both teams. So,
Boy,
welcome back, Leon. Welcome back, Daryl. Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year, James.
Happy New Year, bro.
What a week to come back on, eh?
Yeah, boy. Boy, I don't think my weeks have been better since the World Cup anyway. But as we were the first team to lose out of our teams. We'll start with Liverpool. Our game as we got demolished by Brighton. I'll let you guys go first because I'll probably end up talking for too long, and then we'll end up not having enough time in the end. So you can cut me short when it's time.
Well,
Well, let's be honest, James. We have to give you some credit because you did call it in pre-season, and now everybody's jumping on it. Liverpool midfield is part of the problem. Um, Obviously, you can't legislate for poor defending individually and collectively, but at the same time, I think what Liverpool's success came from the midfield, the legs in the midfield, the footballing intelligence, and being able to stop teams from actually getting to your back line. Now, the back line is almost like the saving grace, whereas before it was like just an extra security blanket. So, as you said, the blueprint has been found, and everybody seems to be using it right now to score against you. And until Klopp is able to bring in the people players in midfield that you are going to need, um, it's difficult to see where he's going to be able to make changes. They've got so many good attacking players. Obviously, there's a couple that's injured, but you can't win games if you can't defend.
Mm.
And right now, they can't defend to save their lives right now.
I don't think it's just the defending. I think, like James has pointed out many times this season, it's the lack of running in the midfield. It becomes a real problem when you look at the midfield, and Thiago is your most competitive midfielder at the moment, and that just seems crazy. I don't know what's happened to Fabinho.
No one
Um,
does.
We're flogging a dead horse, bro. He's been flogged till he can't
um,
do it anymore.
We're overworked.
100%.
Mm.
yeah, and Hendo is not. I've never thought Hendo's anything super spectacular or special, but he's looking very average right now as well, and he's not even doing some of the things that he was capable of when the midfield was ticking. So it's a bit crazy, really. You've got a hell of attacking options, and you've even strengthened that since the World Cup,
Which I didn't
bringing
get.
in Gakpo. You can
Now
see
you could
with
have
with
put
the injury
30 mil on a
with the
midfielder.
injuries.
Exactly.
Realistically, you could
Yeah,
have put 30
Exactly.
mil on a
yeah, but
Because
midfielder.
I can see where they're going with the injuries attacking wise. And obviously, I think Klopp was confident with the midfield. He's confident that they had the numbers. Ox coming back as well. He did score the other day against Brentford, and that didn't account for nothing in that match either because we lost that too. But I'm guessing he was confident enough with the midfield because if the midfield's fit, it's the same midfield that dominated the last couple of seasons. But it's
They're
not
all
like
older
you've.
though,
yeah.
Daryl. They're all
hmm
older. It's not the
And
same.
all older and all have even more injuries on their bodies.
Mm,
When I said it in the summer, you guys didn't believe me. I told you
Nah,
guys.
to be fair, I thought you were just
no.
moaning. I thought you were
Yeah,
just moaning because you guys have literally been to four. You were in the race for four trophies all the way to the final in all of them. Do you know what I mean? It
hmm
wasn't like
mm,
That's
so. It
part of the
didn't make
problem.
sense.
That's part of the
Yeah,
problem. It's part of the
yeah,
problem
yeah.
because we we
Fitness.
yeah we've rinsed our resources last year to get
Mm.
to the last game of every competition, and then you have no proper preseason, and then you don't refresh by bringing in young people. And when we do realise in the last week that you need players, we go and loan Arthur when we could have loaned. This is how deep it is. Yeah, Chelsea loaned what's his name? How did I forget his name now? Just had him on top of Zakaria. For Juventus, we learned Arthur from Juventus.
yeah,
We needed
that's good. Yeah.
Zakaria. We didn't need Arthur. We needed Zakaria. He would have made such a difference in our midfield because even they're not doing great now. but the midfield looks so much better because he's in it, because of his physicality, because he was running, his general presence. We don't have a presence in midfield. I've been watching people send me stuff on Twitter on the breakdowns and how easy we're to get through. And I'm seeing times where Brighton are playing a through ball from the centre back that's going past the front line, dissecting our midfield straight to a winger, and he's running down the wing to cross the ball in, and they're getting a shot from one pass. Our team's trying to get to our defence in two passes. It's
you know what it is?
It's a joke.
Do you know what it is also? You seem so far this season to struggle against all teams that have got energy and run. And I know what you're saying about the midfield and the age and stuff like that, but any team that you've lot have come up against that have got energy and can run and don't sit back and go at you, you've struggled.
Mm.
And I had another Liverpool friend that's a fan that said that you lot were going to get battered against Brighton before the game, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Going to get battered?"
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw 3-0, I was like, "Wow, he was spot on." I don't think it was a battering personally.
Bruv, it was. Bruv, listen, you're forgetting off the line before they even scored. Trent took one off the line from Solly March. Solly March should have had a hat trick. There were chances, man. Listen, we've said it before.
Bro,
who's
I
our
don't
best
think
player?
I've ever seen Liverpool get dominated.
Bruv,
62
They got
to 38% possession, bro.
dominated. Yeah.
dominated.
Yeah.
Passes, ridiculous. That's Man City stats.
And the worst thing about it is, I've said it all season, our best player is our goalkeeper. If we had a different goalkeeper in goal, we would not be where we are now. And that's ninth. That's how bad that is. Without our goalkeeper, we wouldn't even be ninth. I know we've only got ninth in the last week, so we were sixth. But it's a joke, man, because I don't see where we go from here. Like, obviously, before the World Cup, in our last show, I said, yeah, we'll get top four. I don't know who we're going to take out, but we'll get top four. And now I'm sitting here and we're 10 points off top four. And I don't see how we're going to get those 10 points because Newcastle don't seem like they're dropping. Man United are getting stronger and stronger. I think Man United have won 9 in a row or something crazy like that. Like, I don't see where we actually win our next game. We've got Wolves tomorrow in the Cup. I don't see us winning that. We've got Chelsea, as dire as they are. For all we know, they can bring in Mudryk, who they're signed now, and he can come tear us apart. Like, there's just no structure. There's no defensive structure. And I look at it and I think to myself, that's almost like basketball terminology. Can you get a stop? You can't get a stop. If you can get a stop, then you can build your attack. But all we're seeing is
even the attack.
It's not there.
Some of the chances that you guys have been missing are crazy.
That's always been there, though. We've always missed loads of chances. Just the fact was people didn't get
kept
us.
creating them.
Yeah, but not even that. People didn't get to us as easily. So now they're getting like 4 or 5 clear-cut chances a game, whereas they may get 1 and then we win a game 4-1. You know what I mean? Or they get 2 and they miss 1 and then they score 1 and we win a game 3-1. Whereas now they're getting 4 or 5 and scoring 3, or scoring 2 and we're losing the game 2-1 or something like that. We just don't have what it takes to stop people, and I don't see how we're going to fix that because Klopp hasn't showed me over his period that without his strongest lineup that he can't adapt. Like, this was an adaptation. He adapted on Saturday and he said it himself. He tried a different setup and it failed miserably. Everyone's been calling for it, and is it a flaw in Klopp's coaching style that he can only play one style of football? People have said it. It's only got plan A, but because we always had energetic players and they're always ready to fight, we got away with it. But now it seems like there's no energy and the confidence is at a low. That even now we've got our players back to a degree, we're literally waiting for 2 to come back in Diaz and Jota. And is that even going to be enough? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be enough. And I sit here now and I can't see us actually buying. Because is one midfielder even going to fix our problems? Probably need 2 now. We needed 3 at the beginning of the season. We probably need 2 this window. And then wait for them to adapt.
Plus, is the buying going to happen based
No.
on the talks that are going on potentially about the sale and
See,
stuff like
that's what I was
that?
going to ask you guys, because it may be a simplistic way of thinking, but if you know you're going to get bought out, why can't you then spend that money? Because you know the money's coming. You say, you know what, cool, we need to buy these players now. We're going to factor that into the sale of the club. So we need to spend 70 million because that's how much Caicedo is going to cost us from Brighton. So you guys who are buying us, we're spending 70 million. We want it back because he's going to be your player. Why? I don't know. Does that not get factored into buys? It just makes sense that it would do. If
But
we're going to get bought,
No,
then
because
you
again,
forget that their money,
it's
you
their
know what?
asset.
their
Yeah, but
money's invested.
you
Their
don't know if
money's
they're going to
invested.
buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their money's invested at the moment as well. Look, you know that they're trying to buy out an NBA team, so their money's probably tied up. They're probably
Then why buy Gakpo? I know we had two players missing, but we've had midfielders gap for the whole season. I don't know what they.
because I'm pretty sure that Klopp was on the grounds of we've got attacking players in key positions that are missing
Mm, that's more
through
important.
injury that we need to get at, because that's what he's thinking. You brought in Melo, you have a midfield that's coming back from injury, so you had longer term injuries in those positions attacking wise that you needed to cover, and at the end of the day you still haven't replaced Mane effectively, so
But listen,
you know
I like Cody, and I'm happy we signed him. I'm not going to diss him because I think he's going to be a good long-term player, but he's not what we are used to. Like I told one of my guys, as soon as I said, listen, I know you're gonna cuss because you haven't really seen him play, and you're gonna expect to see a Diaz or Mane. He's neither of those two guys. He's a crosser.
nah.
He crosses the ball a lot, and that's why he gets so many assists. So when I have to adjust to someone that is now gonna cross more, he's not gonna be as direct. He's not gonna make those same cutting runs. So that's another added adaptation to what we're already adapting to this season. So it's not even like we're just punting someone in and we're going to get a Diaz effect. We're not going to get that. If we do, I'll be so excited. But I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting him to slowly get better and better. And that's not what we need. Yes, hopefully, long run, he's going to be an extremely good signing for us. But we're in dire straits now. Like everyone's saying Bellingham, Bellingham, Bellingham. Is he going to want to come to a team that's not in the Champions League? I might be saying something negative about him. He might think further into the future, but I'd imagine he wants to play for someone in the Champions League next season. He's not going to play Europa League. And if Man
I
City
don't
turn
think
around
yes
that's
and
as much of a problem because of his age.
nah
if Man City
Because
turn
of his
around
yeah
and
age.
say,
Bellingham's going to go to a team that fits, and if you look at it
Mm.
realistically, that fits. That is the perfect move for him, and it's the perfect move for
I don't
Liverpool.
see
So
why people keep saying that. But Man City are losing? What do you call it? End of the season, Gundogan. As we speak now, he hasn't signed a contract. So what's stopping them?
he's going into coaching. He's going into coaching as
Yeah.
well. I'm pretty sure.
So that's a slot open. Perfect. Gundogan plays enough minutes for them to say, you know what, Gundogan's leaving. You take Gundogan's spot.
Yeah, but
What?
you say you get enough minutes. He's not gonna get the same minutes that he'd
I
get at
reckon
Liverpool.
he'll get more
That's City.
minutes, but I think he'll get more. If he came in, he'll probably replace Bernardo Silva, who incidentally is also I think leaving as well. I think his contract's ending as well. Barcelona want him, so you've got Gundogan and you've got him leaving as well. Perfect. Bellingham come in. That's two guys going. You come in. That's your spot. So then you've got Rodri, um, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bellingham. Maybe that's why they're so quiet because they're not even fussed about it. They've really spoken to him, and everyone's spoken to him. I just find it weird that no one's factored Man City into signing Bellingham. I don't know why he would say no. I don't want to go there. That's what worries me.
Interesting.
That's what worries me. 'Cause listen, as much as I'll be happy if come the end of the season, we signed Caicedo, we signed Kone, and we signed Rice because Rice's contract's up end of the season as well. Ordinarily, that's three really good team midfielders that we can sign. And they would make us really good because they all fit the profile we're looking for. But it's just that Bellingham seems perfect because he can do both, can do everything. But I don't know. It's just hard to sit here and think, you know what, where if we lose to Chelsea on Saturday, or whether it is Saturday, early kick on Saturday, they go above us and we're 10th, and then other teams win. We drop into the bottom half of the table, and I can't even sit here and say, you know what? Even though we're going to be at home, yeah, we're going to beat Chelsea. Even though they're struggling, I still can't see us beating Chelsea the way they're struggling. I just don't know where the next win's going to come from, and I know people. I've got people saying to me that Klopp can go if we finish top four. If we don't finish in top four, he can go. I don't personally. I understand the fear, but for me, he's earned too much respect, and he's done too much for us to say if you don't make top four, you better get out of here. Doesn't make sense to me. Someone like him
Do you
deserves
think?
to rebuild with
Do you
better
think he'll
players.
walk?
No, he's not going to walk.
If he wants to rebuild, I think then yeah, keep him because he's proved what he can do with we say limited resources, but less resources than the other big 3-4 teams in the league: Man United, Chelsea, Man
Liverpool's
City.
result is
So
Liverpool's resources have always been structured very cleverly.
And those guys are gone.
Um,
Remember, all those guys are gone. All those guys that were doing all these buying and then getting it all tied up in the bow for us, they're gone now. Wardy's leaving at the end of the season. Now what's happened? Three key guys that made us the best, or arguably the best, at doing contracts and signing players, and they're all leaving or gone. It's mad. But anyway, let's move on to you guys
better
because
move on.
well, it's a much of the same story, though. Really, if you want to be
Well,
no,
it's
but
honest.
the
you're
same
still listen.
story.
You can still get you're still in a position to get Champions League. And that's end of the day, that was your
Are,
goal. Your goal at the beginning of the season
are we
was
though?
top four. Yeah, listen, you're fifth place.
I feel like we're in free fall. I think we're in free fall. I feel like we're in free fall worse than you because you're talking about you can't see yourselves winning games. I generally look at us and I can't see where the improvement is going to come and where we're going to win games. Like I generally can't see it. It's not like you where you can say, okay, the midfield's a problem. Um, if the attack are clinical on their day, they can win and stuff like that.
Mm.
We are looking poor at the back. We're looking poor in midfield, and we're looking starved up front. So I can't see where we're gonna get back to winning ways and push for that top four. Like I literally can't see it. Like I feel like it's a case now for me concentrating on trying to win a cup over top four. Personally, you, Leon?
It's risky. It's risky because in the cups, as you know, you don't know who you're going to get drawn against. And let's be honest, our record against the big teams under Conte hasn't been very good.
Mm.
So we can't even rely on that. We're not going to win the Champions League. The FA Cup is realistically the only trophy that we can actually logistically probably win. And even then, as I said, it all depends on what draw you get. So to me, I think what I don't understand is with Conte, there's obviously a lot of difference of opinion regarding whether he's part of the problem or not. But one thing I have to say is that considering his tactic of trying to not concede, it just isn't working. I'm surprised he hasn't tried something different. Like he hasn't tried to change to a back four at any point. He hasn't tried to adjust how we start games. Even the Palace win, like Palace could easily have scored before we did. So it's not like that game was an outlier where if they I think if they had more composure up front, they probably would have scored 2 or 3 in that game. But we managed to take our chances just because we got Kane. But to me, I just don't really see where the improvement is going to come. We all know that Conte wants players that he can come in and can get him results. We haven't provided him with that. We've got a backline that we've known from the get go that it was a weak link, and we've said it from the beginning of the season, and it's proved to be the case. Lloris has made the most mistakes leading to goals out of all the keepers in the Premier League, including man like Pickford and De Gea, who other clubs will say is a calamity at the back at times. But Lloris has been doing that for years. He's been a long servant for the club, but now it's time to move on from him. We've still got Dyer, we've still got Davis, we've still got Emerson, we've still got Doherty, we've still got Sanchez. Like, Tanganga, it's lovely that he's come through the youth system, but he isn't good enough to play for someone that's going for top four. So to me, there's too many players that you can't rely on, and until we make significant changes, which won't happen, nothing's going to change. We're still going to be top. We shouldn't really have got top four last year. I said this to Darryl the other day. Arsenal should have got it, but they basically fumbled the ball, mate, at the end with the Newcastle game and the game against us. They were a better team than us last year, and all that's proved now is they've made the progression and we've gone backwards, because Newcastle have now come in and they look a completely different team today to the way they were last season. So
that's not even that. To be fair, at the end of last season they look good.
They did, but they've improved.
Even better.
They've improved.
Yeah,
They lost one game all season. One game,
solid.
And we beat them. I know we beat them last second. Carvalho.
The key word that Leon just said there is rely. Like Conte is a guy that relies on
certain players.
Yeah. And
being
right now, I'm pretty sure he looks at this team and thinks, apart from Kane, not even Son.
Nope.
Maybe Kane, maybe Højbjerg. Who can I really rely on in this team? And when you can only pick out two men, maybe even Perisic. When you can pick out 2-3 men that you can say you can rely on out of 11, that's peak. It's just not good enough. Like Leon and I were at the game yesterday, and
I wouldn't sign a contract if I was him. Real talk.
I was going to say to you guys, would you, if he leaves, would you not think? Can we not tap up someone like Enrique? He's free now. Hasn't got a job.
The question is for Conte right now is, I don't think it's a case of whether he wants to stay at Tottenham and
is he going to get the money?
The question is, where does he honestly see himself going if he leaves Tottenham? So that kind of leaves him in like a if that can happen. If that can happen, but unless he's guaranteed that, he could be just.
But Allegri's not doing too bad. I think they're sitting third in the league, so they might allow it. They might give Allegri what he needs.
Might do. So, they just got pumped 5-1.
Yeah, no.
Weekend.
But Napoli and Arsenal they're like the same breed right now.
They're motivated. The two teams that are motivated. Like, we was at the game yesterday, and before the kickoff, they huddled. At halftime, they huddled. They are motivated. They mean this. They wanted this. They felt that pain from last season and have addressed it and turned around. And Arteta, I said it when Arteta took over, he knew the club from being there. He understood it. He got it, and he was going to pull it right.
Him and Edu, they're both part of the fabric.
Yeah. So, and let's be honest, he's Pep's brainchild, as people say, but like this, I could see it coming.
Pep said it though.
You can see that.
Pep said, "Trust me." You can
see that they got
this guy is going to get it right. Arsenal, just trust me.
Yeah,
he's going to get it right.
Yeah, you can see he's got a plan. He's got a signature about him. Now, Conte's signature and his formation and his style and stuff like that. That doesn't actually suit Tottenham and how we play and the style of football. Like, fans are happy to get results and play boring football and stuff, but when you're not getting results and you're playing this style of football, it's not good. Now, at the end of the day, Conte ain't committing to the club. The club are probably not going to commit to Conte in terms of spending what he wants to be spending in the transfer window on the players that he wants. So we're in like an absolute limbo at the moment, and it's just like Levy's stubbornness against Conte's stubbornness. So it's not good for us. Like I think we're in a worse situation than Liverpool at the moment. If I'm honest with you,
I don't see how. But okay. The only reason I'll say maybe is obviously because we're potentially being bought out, which would change everything for us.
So we potentially being bought out, but that's probably all just smoke screens just to push other deals through. We're being just
the reason why James is saying that is because Liverpool have fallen from a higher perch than we have. So right now, to James, this is like an absolute calamity. But realistically, there's light at the end of the tunnel because you still have a manager who knows what he's doing and has been backed by the club. Whereas we've had 3 or 4 managers in the same period that you've had him, and none of the managers have really been backed with players of the quality to do what the board want them to do. Yeah, or the manager wants to do.
I think, but when you look at it, I think where you've got to have some hope is you look at a guy like De Zerbi and how he's come in and how he's not transformed, but how he's progressed Brighton. There are other coaches out there. Who would have had De Zerbi as one of the progressive coaches for one of the teams? He wasn't on anyone's list really.
Yeah, but it's different when you're coming into Brighton. It's like Aston Villa. Everyone knew that Aston Villa's team was decent enough to not be where they were. And once they got Emery, everyone could see, this is going to be a problem because Emery knows how to coach.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. Those guys are, as I said, Aston Villa's team. They spent well in the transfer market. It was just a case of getting those players playing in the right way, and Gerrard couldn't do that, whereas Emery can. And the same with Brighton. Brighton were obviously going to have a big transition after losing Potter, who done so well. But De Zerbi is not changing a huge amount. They all knew how to play football. They already knew how to keep possession of the ball. And all it was about for them was scoring goals. That's the problem they had on the Potter, was scoring goals.
Yeah, it's true.
The thing is, Brighton did their homework. They brought in a manager
similar.
That was similar and had the same DNA, because this is what was working for Brighton, and they wanted to keep that same structure, and they brought in a manager. Because come on, all 3 of us knew about him before he came, and we knew that it was a fit, and it was only a matter of time. But I'm surprised that he's been so successful so quickly. But like Leon said, the structure was already there from Potter, and he's just finally tuned it. And Brighton were a good team from last season. We know this. So I'm not surprised, and the same with Emery at Villa. Like you said, they had quality players, and they have just addressed that now with a manager that is capable of getting the best out of them. It's as simple as that, really.
It's just very frustrating, I guess. Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's painful right now for both of our teams, because realistically, over the last 3-4 years, we've been challengers, and we're looking like we're both out of the race for the top 4 right now, and that's just crazy.
I think we're definitely out, but you guys have still got a chance.
The only thing you got to say, James, is like we are only halfway through the season, which is mad to think, but we're only halfway through the season. But I feel there's too much for both our teams to have to turn around and change. That's the problem. Like I said it to Leon, I said I don't want Conte to go, because I have faith and believe in him. I know sometimes he's frustrating in terms of the stubbornness. Like Leon was going mad yesterday when we ain't making changes in 60 minutes. Come out from half time getting battered, and there's no changes until like the 70 something minute.
Doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense. So, but on the other side of things, I did say to Leon, like the only way I can see things turn around for us is if Conte went and we had a new manager bounce. That might give us some impetus.
With the same players, that's the only reason.
I said it. Go, you guys should be calling Luis Enrique. You should call him in.
But James, what will happen though is we'll have the new manager bounce, and it will just end up in the same scenario that we're going to happen again. So, just the board need to just simply back their managers that they bring in and they pay a hell of a lot of money to.
I heard he bid 7 million for Trossard today.
7.
That's what I heard. 7 million for Trossard.
Well, there you go. 7 million for one of their best players.
I think his
man.
contract's running out at the end of the season, but they've got.
Doesn't matter though, bro.
They've got, what do you call it though? They've got a clause to extend it, so technically he's not going to run out in the season. The 7 million is a joke.
Yep, but that's exactly the problem. That's exactly the problem. All fans know it. We've been calling it, but it ain't going to change.
But we've seen what new managers can do.
I can tell you. all this takeover talk, it's just smoke screens. It's people just positioning themselves elsewhere to get themselves deals with other more lucrative clubs than us, where they don't have to
You don't know.
deal deal with the purchase of a football club from a man like Levy. Can you imagine trying to get a purchase? Look how he is in the transfer market. Can you imagine trying to sell
Yeah, I know.
to try and buy a club from him and for him to sell? That's it's crazy.
But we'll move on anyway because Man United, Man City, there's a lot to talk about because they were 1-0 up. So we'll start from the most important thing of the game. 1-0 up, only shot on target, and then the referees somehow contrived to say that Rashford wasn't interfering when he was literally running alongside the ball, and then they score to make it 1-1.
Well, in the new laws of the games, technically he wasn't interfering.
Listen,
It's a
Daryl,
case that
come on,
it's in the
bro.
new
Use common sense.
in the new laws of the game. He didn't touch
Nope,
the ball, and he
that's
wasn't
not.
impeding another player. Although personally, I think he was because
he impedes the
He
I
goalkeeper.
think
was.
He messes, it
I
messes the
think
goalkeeper's thought process because the
yeah,
goalkeeper
Messi,
could
yeah,
sprint out
exactly,
and clear it, but because
yep,
Rashford is there, he's not sprinting
exactly.
out to clear it. He might
And
have
another
got
thing,
there.
a Kanji as well. A Kanji running back.
He knows he's offside, so he doesn't sprint
Yeah,
to try and
yeah,
tackle him.
but it's not even that. Even if he does sprint, he's got to go through Rashford to
Yeah,
get to the ball. So he is impeding,
Exactly.
but I don't know.
That was offside. It's offside, bruv.
Yeah, well, I personally think it's offside, but in terms of the laws of the game, and this is what the footballing worlds of
Of refs.
FIFA want to
Of refs.
and you
Of
to
refs.
be
want
fair,
to go through.
I haven't heard a single player that's not a single person that's not a lawmaker or in charge of enforcing the rules that has said it should have stood. Every former player, every pundit, everyone has said
The,
it shouldn't have. It's only former referees that have said, "Oh, by
Hmm.
the laws."
yeah, well,
That,
Sky's referee at the time that they have on deck for these decisions now called it and said, personally, he thinks the goal should stand because he doesn't touch the ball, he doesn't impede any other players,
It's the
so
referee's views, bruv.
it's actually clever
of
from
course,
Rashford. They actually said it was clever
yeah,
from
no.
Rashford.
I'm
Isn't
That's
that
being
what they said about Ronaldo getting pens and all that?
They always say it's clever, but I just think it's a mockery because yes, cool. Man City weren't having the greatest game, but you rely on having a good back line. Like we do it. The amount of times we have a high line and we rely on it to get you out of trouble, and that's what they did. They got themselves out of trouble, and they got screwed over, as far as I'm concerned. Because yeah, people can say yeah, but what about the goal that you guys scored against Wolves, where he's offside and because he headers it, he's now affecting the play. You can't tell me Salah wasn't, and I'll probably say yeah because I had the same problem when you guys came to Anfield. I don't know if you remember when you played a through ball and Lovren saw Harry Kane behind him, so he tried to stop the ball from going through, and Harry Kane got a penalty. I was like, that doesn't matter. If Harry Kane's not there, he doesn't touch the ball. Harry Kane doesn't get fouled. But this is different. I don't think you can compare it in that regard because the way he's running with the
it's,
ball.
it's crazy because they say play to the whistle. The linesman's not going to put up the flag until the last minute, but you can't play to the whistle because the whistle hasn't blown.
Bro, they're
So you're
making
gonna
you do extra work for no
Yeah,
reason.
exactly.
That's
So
basically
injuries,
what they're
so
making you do.
people getting injured.
you're gonna play to you're gonna play to the whistle, and if you're playing to the whistle, that means you got to presume that Rashford's onside,
Mm-hmm.
which means then you don't come for the ball and don't clear it. The defenders don't run back and try and tackle him because they think he
He's
is
offside.
offside.
Yeah,
It's an absolute mess. So where's your thought process and your decision making in that situation? It's crazy.
but apart from that, do you think Man United deserved to win the game? Considering City only had one shot on target all game, from what I remember.
I think a
I think
draw
they.
probably would have been a
I think,
fair result
yeah,
personally, based on how the
probably. I
match
mean,
was. But you know, that
Man
goal
City
was
always have loads of
controversial.
possession. Let's be honest, they always have
Um,
possession of the ball. So,
yeah,
but they
and
didn't create much, to
the
be honest
second
with
goal
you.
was a good goal. The second goal was a good goal. So really, it should be a 1-1 if you want to be honest with you, and would have been a fair draw. But boy,
I
I
see
don't
in
know. What
trouble.
about what? Nah, don't be silly.
I mean, okay, when I
City,
say
Uh,
in trouble of winning the league, they're going to finish first or second. But because what the game before, yes, it was a Carabao Cup, but they had no shots on target against Southampton and lost. And I think I've been going
look,
back. They're not scoring. They're not scoring goals away from home all season. It's not. It's not a
no, they
new thing.
haven't.
They haven't been scoring
we
away from
we
home.
No,
we know what City are capable of, and if they go on a run, like you got to remember, they got to play Arsenal twice.
yeah,
Yeah,
But it still doesn't take them above Arsenal though. Oh yes, it takes them
but
in striking
you,
but it
distance.
closes the gap
everyone,
and makes
Mm.
everyone tense.
yeah, everyone's presuming that what Arsenal are just going to win all Arsenal got United. United for me, if you want
United.
to ask anyone, United are the team that people should be fearing right now.
No, Arsenal
The
are
way
better
that
than
they
United.
playing,
No, Arsenal are better than United. As much as I hate
we'll see.
Man United,
We'll see.
I
We'll
know I
see when
dislike
that.
them, but
We'll see in that match.
I know.
That's what we'll
To be
see.
fair, Man United did beat them, but that wasn't Old Trafford.
Look, like Arsenal. Let's be honest with you. Arsenal don't scare me attacking wise like United scare me. Like
But United.
if you want to be honest in the Tottenham Arsenal game,
Mm,
yeah, Martinelli didn't do nothing, Nketiah didn't do nothing, and Saka was just given free reign to do what the hell he wanted.
but that's because they got.
Other than that,
And he did.
That's because they got Odegaard. Like,
but attacking wise, they didn't do nothing. Their midfield dominated our midfield,
that's what
and
wins
that's not
games,
the
though.
first
Yeah,
midfield.
but that's
That's
what.
not what the first midfield that's done it.
But I think their midfield is better than Arsenal United at the moment, and I think them if it's a battle between midfields, I think their midfield will dominate Man United midfield. Casemiro will do a lot of.
Even with Casemiro,
They've got more legs in there.
they got more
Arsenal
Casemiro,
do.
legs.
But
Casemiro put a lot of fires, but just watching how Arsenal have played, they're just relentless, and it's like the confidence they've got. They don't fear knocks. They don't feel setbacks.
I
They just
feel
keep on
like
going.
Arsenal are relentless because everyone's allowing them and giving them the time to do what they want.
See, no, no, see,
It's like
I don't know if it's obviously you hate them, innit? I don't know if it's a bit of bias, but I dislike them, but I don't have the same rivalry.
no,
What
I don't
Arsenal are
dislike
doing,
Arsenal like that.
what Arsenal are doing now, it's not because people are letting them. Arsenal are enforcing their will onto teams, and teams can't cope with it. Like even Newcastle had to. They did the same thing against us. Newcastle they ended up just defending for their lives and wasting time to get the draw. It wasn't. They didn't let Arsenal do it. They said, you know what? Okay, you're not going to score, and we're going to take away any time you can have. I have to give Arteta credit. The system. I think I was speaking with Leon about it earlier, offline, and he could probably say what he said more. But the structure they've done during the break, the lines, the passing, how they've set up.
No, it's good. I'm not gonna
They
lie.
they make sure
It's
that
good.
there's always whenever there's a player on the ball, they always give an angle. They always give a player an option that's available and
It was
free. There's a passing lane all the time. It's
Mm.
like
yeah. We
there were
saw it in the
times,
game.
yeah,
It
we
was
saw
light
it.
work. Yeah, it was light work.
The defense were able to get past our rubbish press because it is rubbish all the
Yeah.
time because they were able to play triangles and there's always a man available, free in space for the person in possession. So Arteta is playing the type of football that he liked to play as a player himself, and he's got a set of players who are all comfortable with the ball. There's not one player in Arsenal's team who isn't comfortable in possession. They all are, and that's what makes that system work for them.
I think a key part of
Everyone
it
likes to have the ball.
is the patience. They're patient now.
But
Although they're young, they have the bit of patience to not rush
that's
it because the confidence is
that's
up.
that's
No,
that's the
no, but
killer.
even with the patience, though,
Last
they're moving the
season,
ball. They're moving the
last season
ball.
they had
It's
the
not
same thing.
static.
Last season they had the same thing. They
Yeah,
said the same thing. They had the composure and stuff like that, but they was getting caught out.
but they're losing key players as
Now,
well. Though they were making silly
yeah,
mistakes and getting silly
and
fouls and stuff
people
like that.
and people are pressing like the short goal kicks and stuff like that. People are pressing.
Mm.
Yesterday, we couldn't press them. We gave them time and sat back, and then we gave them all space as well. Like man, were just rolling into areas of the pitch unmarked.
Mm.
We made it easier for them to play their style of football. Like, I don't think they can go and play the same way against a Brighton or do you know what I mean? Or a City
It'll be
or
interesting. I'll be honest. It's going to be interesting when they do play a Brighton. I think they played them recently. I think they beat them. If I'm honest with you, I think they did beat Brighton recently. But maybe because I've been watching a lot of reviews on Brighton after they hammered us, so it's all merged into one. But I seem to remember Martinelli scoring against them. And that could have been the season, could have been last season. But
the United game is going to be interesting.
yeah,
It's going to be interesting.
but when you look at where United are now, it's a massive game in that respect because what Arsenal on 47, they're on 30, 38, both on the same points, and Arsenal coming into a tough set of fixtures as well potentially. So I don't know. We'll see. It's because we'll move on to Chelsea because they're the other team that's in trouble, just like us. Do you guys think he'll last, Potter?
The fans
If
seem to want him
Chelsea
to
are
stay.
smart, they
No,
should.
brother.
They
Listen,
should
I've heard
keep
a lot of
him.
fans say they don't want him. Sometimes when I'm at work because it's easier to listen to football than music at times on the headphones. I listen to Talksport at times, and on different shows, there's a lot of fans that didn't think he was ready in the first place. They thought it came too early for him. And I've had fans say this is the worst Chelsea team I've seen in 15 years.
But they're investing.
I think they invest in for Potter because they want him to build. And what they invest in is a lot, man. The young talent they're recruiting, obviously, it's not going to come to fruition now, but from next season onwards, when they've added Nkunku, who apparently is a done deal, if they keep Potter there and let him do what he needs to do, it could be like Arsenal doing basically,
Yeah.
just slowly building, slowly
So,
building.
so in that sense, they're not in trouble really. Realistically, you know, what are they trying to achieve this season? Probably Champions League.
Well, I don't think either of us are getting champions. We're both sitting on the same points, and they've played one more game than we have. So I don't think they're going to get top four, personally.
Bro, there's still
But
so much time. It just depends on injuries. There's still a lot of time to
Yeah.
turn things around, bro. Like,
The difference is with Chelsea,
they've got their injuries now.
yeah,
yes, that's the
and
difference.
they somehow are picking up points when they're actually playing terrible.
No, they haven't been though, bro.
Like
They haven't been
They haven't
picking up
played
the points though.
terrible.
they,
They just haven't been
They-
scoring.
yeah, I think
Their
they
defensively,
won
they
the
look
last
really
game.
poor as well.
Yeah, they won the last game, but they lost the two before that and drew the one before that.
they wasn't good against Palace. They wasn't good against Palace.
No, but Palace are that team at the moment. They're
That's
Jekyll
true.
and
Yeah.
Hyde, man. They
Yeah.
like you said, you guys weren't that good against them. You beat them 4-0 in the end against Palace.
Mm.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true.
But Mudryk, do you know what he reminds me of? Yeah, but Mudryk, he reminds me of Bale. Once he's running and got the ball and he's got space,
Can't stop.
you can't stop him. And it's just like you blink and he's gone 10 meters. You blink again and he's at your penalty box and he's getting a shot off. That's what he reminds me of. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be as good as Bale, but when he's running, this reminds me of Bale, where he just flicks it around someone and runs around them and he's gone, man. So it's worrying, but it's whether he's gonna have that kind of space because teams are gonna sit back. They're gonna give him that space to run into.
He won't have that type of space. He
So
definitely
it's gonna be
won't. But
interesting to see what
Yeah.
to
he
see
can
how
do.
he adapts. He's a young player as well, so he'll need time. He'll need time. But I think they should stick with Potter. They clearly, the new owners set their stall out by getting rid of Tuchel, who
Yeah.
we know what he won for them, and they just dashed him out because they weren't on the same page. So it's not like they didn't choose Potter themselves; they chose Potter. So I
Yeah.
think they'll stick with him. And as you said, they're buying young players, they're buying young talent to try and turn things around. You're gonna need time. It's just whether they want to afford to not necessarily qualify for the Champions League this season. They're still in it though, aren't they? Technically,
Yeah.
so you
Sure,
never
it's
know.
not win it.
Chelsea are that
Yeah.
type of team, man. They can finish sixth and win the Champions League.
And now they've got João
They've
Felix,
done in the past
who
with
looked really
Di
good before getting
Matteo.
sent off.
So, exactly, he did against Fulham. Did really good. So, yeah, gonna be interesting.
So we don't care about Chelsea. So then we move on. to the lesser lights now, so to speak. You've got Brentford. Tony scoring pens again like it's nothing.
Yeah,
Bournemouth looked like
back.
they were coming back into things, but looks like they're in trouble again.
Yeah, they look like
It's very
they've
tight down there, man. 2 wins and you're feeling good, and then 2 losses and you're just like in the mix. So the bottom half of the table is very peak, very peak.
Forest. Look at Forest. Look at the turnaround from
Yeah,
them.
they come out.
The resurgence,
Like,
man.
They're
it's like
13th, bro. This is crazy.
Oh, I
I
thought they
know.
were
8
down
points
and
behind we
out,
are.
We thought they was
bro.
finished.
I
Let's be
thought they were
honest. We
down
thought
and
they was
out, bro.
finished. And look at that. Look how they turned that around. Leeds. Leeds again. Another Jekyll and Hyde team. They played well
Yeah, they did. He even said it's the
and
best
lost.
performance since he got there. The best overall performance since he got there. And the way Gary Neville was eulogizing over Nonto, he couldn't stop. We're talking about Nonto, 3.5 million,
Bro, they got
and
these three small black youths just running things. Somerville,
yeah, yeah.
Jonto, and who's the other one? Gone out of my head.
I can't,
There's another
I
one,
can't
bro.
remember the other one. I think it's only two. It's only
Can't
two.
remember his name. I
It's
think
only
there's
two
three, you
because
know.
Cody Drammer's a right back, and he hasn't really played. He's been on loan. Sinestro. Sinestro.
There we go.
No,
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, yeah, I
Sinestro.
know
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Sinestro,
That's
whatever
it.
his
That's
name
it.
is.
Three of them, bro. Three
Yeah.
of them causing problems.
They
So
haven't had a chance to get them all running at the same time, though.
nah,
Like
No, no,
nope.
they
no.
didn't
That's the
expect
problem.
Nonto to be as good as he was when they signed him, because they were talking about him being good for the academy, for the under 23s, and he was like, nah, I'm not playing under 23s, man. I didn't leave Zurich to come and play for under 23s for you
To
guys.
come
I
do
want, I
that.
want to, I want to
Nah,
sign in the
bro.
Premier
Yeah,
League.
I want
Good
that
for him,
that
man.
13 spot. Everton.
Bruv, the
That's a
headlock.
whole.
Bruv, how you gonna get a chairman in a headlock? Are you kidding me? The fans got the chairman, the co-owner, co-chairman in a headlock. That's
Bruv,
bruv,
listen,
that's another level
Ja- James.
of
The
foolery, bruv.
fans, the fans told the owners not to turn up before
Wasn't
the
but it
game,
wasn't that
bruv.
game? It was the game before, which is why they didn't do it. It wasn't even that game they got her in a headlock. I thought it was. 'Cause I was thinking, but they told her not to stay. So why was she there? And then I heard that it was the game before. When they said the team, it was the game before they had her in the headlock.
Oh,
Bro, that is a
man.
lot.
Bro, I see Yari Mina getting accosted by fans
Man said I
down
will
back
die for
streets.
this club, wherever.
Like,
Come on, bro.
like these Evertonians are some wild fans out
Yeah, I
here.
know.
But what are we thinking? Is it done for Frank? We
Bruv, you
finished.
look at the results. Loss, draw, loss. I just don't see
Bro,
it, bruv.
Do you remember at the start of the season we were like they had the best defense, bro? When
Yeah.
in the first like 6 games they had the best
Yeah,
defense, and then it
I,
just
I knew that weren't gonna
unraveled.
last.
No, of course
That
not.
weren't gonna last.
Of course not, mate.
But you can't lose to Southampton as well. That's like there's a relegation 6-pointer
I know. Although Southampton had a good
and
week,
Imagine,
losing at home.
they had a good week, beating Palace, then
Yeah,
beating City, then beating Everton. It is a bad look. It's a really bad look.
imagine they're still bottom off that good week. That's
Yeah.
how
I
bad it
know.
is.
It's
That's
crazy.
because
It's
they're three
crazy.
different competitions. That's
They could,
why FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and League. They were sitting there thinking, "We wish this was the league." If they were three league
You're
games, they'll be
wasting
out of it,
you're
bro.
wasting them cup performances, bro.
Trust
Wasting
me.
them.
oh god.
Because West Ham as well. Like, how has this happened to West Ham?
I actually think Europe affected them. Europe affected them. That last season
Yeah,
in Europe
it
affected
affected
them.
them
They
last
got to the
season, and
semi-finals, innit?
Yeah.
they're doing well again in Europe this year, and it's and it's affected them again. Like Wolves. To be honest, Wolves are improving,
Bro, they
and
got a good coach, though, innit?
like
Lopetegui's a
Well,
good coach.
yeah,
I knew that.
yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So that's not such a surprising result to be honest at home. So it
I just didn't expect them to
is
be joint bottom, in all honesty. Coming to the
is
90th
it
game of the season, I never thought they'd be joint bottom in the league.
yeah.
No,
Is
but
he is
again,
he
so
is it?
early.
He's
There's
not in
still
trouble.
time for. Nah,
You reckon
there's
he's not in
still
trouble?
time.
Nah, they won't sack him.
No,
No.
They won't
nah,
sack him.
nah.
I
Is
honestly
that
think
is that because they're in Europe still?
no, I think even if they got
I
relegated,
think
I think they would back him.
Moise has got. Yeah, he's got some. He's got. You know that he's gonna be able to turn it around. And he's had this
He's
with
been here.
Everton. There was a couple seasons where he would be like fourth, fifth, sixth, and then he would have one bad season. You're like, oh, what the hell happened to Everton? And then he'll make them survive. So I don't think West Ham are in trouble. They'll be fine.
Because their worry is they need to get him back. They need to get themselves back up there because the players players they bought.
They're on big wages, but
Yeah, they're big wages. Because you get relegated this season. Any chance of keeping it's virtually impossible anyway because he's got 2 years left in his contract. But any chance of keeping or 18 months of keeping Rice is completely gone. Paqueta's going to bounce. Even someone like Skamaka, you'd have to try and find someone to sell him at a loss. So they'll do everything they can, and they'll find their form. I think anyway. He's too good a manager. And
the issue
I
for
just
them
think
scoring
Southampton
goals
aren't
because
really.
their defensive record ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not. But they're
It's
minus
scoring
10, bro.
goals.
They're on -10
No, that's not. No, but they've only
because
conceded
they can't
25
score.
goals. They conceded what? The same amount of goals as
Yes,
less goals than us. Fulham, same as Brighton. They're
and yeah,
fifth,
same
sixth,
as us.
seventh,
They could see the same as
and
us.
they're literally 19th. So
So they've only scored 15
it's scoring
goals.
goals. hmm
And Skamaka hasn't quite hit the ground running, and
I think that's an understatement.
Yeah.
what's his name?
Big backers don't often do well in the Prem. Viani
No,
and Zola are the only two outliers, bruv.
Yeah. RIP.
yeah,
Indeed,
RIP.
RIP.
But I think
But
the issue is what's his name in it? The winger. He's a shadow. I forgot his name now. The right winger. Um,
Oh, Jared Bowen.
Jared
Bowen,
Bowen.
Bowen.
He's just not looking like anything. It's almost like not getting picked for England just knocked his confidence because he hasn't been there all season. And
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know. I think the last team to talk about will be Leicester. I mean, it looked like they
Well,
were finding their way out of it, and then they come back from
they've
the
gone
World Cup, and
backwards a little bit
yeah,
again.
lost all 4 games since the World Cup.
Just, I think the World Cup came at the wrong time for
Yeah,
them,
it
but
did.
it's like it's like they've had a restart, and it's like it's back to like it just goes to show how crazy this season is gonna end up being because we're only halfway through, and like if we was to say anything right now, if you used to say what would you put your money on, the only thing you would probably put your money on probably would be say Arsenal to win the title because you can't say who's going to get relegated. You can't
You
say
can't.
who's going to be mid-table, who's going to finish top four. Like it's like
It's so open.
teams are so out of position at the moment. It's crazy. Like you said, I can't honestly believe that we're sitting here halfway through the season and Forest are 13th from not having a squad at the end of last season and starting this season
Bro,
terribly.
Forest are 8 points behind us.
Like,
That's,
yeah,
how the 8 points? Forest, we're closer to Forest than we are to you, I believe, or it's the same distance, something like that. It's quite close. That's
Nah,
ridiculous.
it's not true.
It's not true.
It's
That's how
not
it
true.
feels. Let me check the table. What are we on?
You're 8 points ahead
Okay,
of
we're
Forest and 5 points behind us.
okay, boy. But
that made that
you're not
makes
even
it
fourth.
But
You're fifth.
but
that made
exactly,
James
if you're
feel
talking
better.
about top four, you
Top
are
four,
closer to
yes.
Forest than top four. Yeah,
It's a
100.
shambles. It's a shambles. I don't know.
Uh,
It's not been a good week. It's not going to be been a
It
good
has not.
2023 so far for either of us,
mm-mm.
our teams.
No.
So I'm just hoping. Like, who have you guys got next? I know we've got we've got
Manchester
Rodrigo
City
next
away.
first.
How about that?
Oh yeah, Thursday. Oh
Haaland.
yeah, Thursday.
Yeah,
Haaland.
man.
Yeah, Haaland,
Free touch
Haaland,
Haaland.
Haaland that hasn't scored for a little bit, and who's he come up? The gift horse that is Tottenham Hotspurs. If there's anyone
Featuring
struggling
Eric
for
Dyer.
form, anyone that's struggling for form, any team that needs a bounce back, we are that giving team. We are the gift that keeps giving. So yeah, and do you know what? Like people are making up a whole heap of stories behind this. If you lose to City, then it's curtains for you lot, and then also if you'll be also if you beat City,
You're helping
you're
Arsenal.
going to be helping Arsenal. Like, shut up, man! I don't give a damn. We want 3 points.
Yeah,
3
that
points,
should be.
and to concentrate on ourselves. Don't give a damn about
Mm-hmm.
what's going on elsewhere. But like, I knew the Arsenal game was going to be peak. I said it to Leon before the match. I said, "Did you know this is the first time in a long while I'm going to a derby, and generally feeling like it's not going to be a nice day," and it wasn't. Um, it's just compounded the feeling of now we've got City next, and what the hell's going to happen there? Like, I'm just fearful. And then
Mm.
after that, I'm just thinking like, where do we go? Where do we pick up ourselves? I just don't know, man. The whole myth of Conte and the team sandbagging before World Cup, and we're gonna come after the World Cup and be magical. That's
You got City.
yeah,
You got City twice, though, innit? For some reason, you got
yeah,
City, Fulham, City again. I didn't realize that.
yeah.
You had City two times in three
I,
games.
I, and Fulham ain't looking too bad right now either. Let's
No,
be
But
honest.
Fulham
they're
are
right behind
looking
you.
good.
They're right behind you, innit?
They're looking good.
So yeah, it's peak right now. It's peak.
So I guess you're looking at another loss in your eyes. So for us, I don't know, Chelsea. I should sit there every time I say we're going to win a game on here. We'll be fine. We're going to win. We don't win. So I'm just gonna say I haven't got a clue what's gonna happen. I haven't got a clue what's gonna happen.
Look,
I hope Darwin is back because it doesn't look like he's gonna be ready for the FA Cup tomorrow. I hope he's ready to play, and I hope it's a game where Darwin and Gapco find a little partnership together, and Salah does what he normally does and just finds a goal from somewhere against Chelsea.
that's the one thing about the signing of Gakpo. I think that enhances Darwin's style of play. Like you said, the getting the ball in the
Mm.
box, delivering stuff like that. Darwin will thrive off of that if they can get it right. If they can get a partnership going, that could be a big thing for you guys.
I hope so because I'm all out of positivity.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If we had this recording before this weekend and had our predictions, I would have said, you know what, we're going to lose to City midweek, and at least hopefully we'll show some fight against Arsenal and maybe get a point or something. We got battered by Arsenal. There was no fight shown, and now we're rolling into that City game, wounded animals. Like, I
Oh
can't see
yeah,
us winning.
away from home.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Good show.
Well, I enjoyed talking about the rest of the stuff. Just not Liverpool yet. But I've got some things off my chest, which is one of the things we're here to do. And hopefully next time we speak, we've both had a win or two.
Yeah.
Mm.
In maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll see.
Well, a couple of weeks you'd have played Fulham and then Tottenham and then Man City again.
City
Man City
again.
again.
Yeah, maybe next month. But hopefully we'll be back before that. Yeah, we'll look forward to the next show.
Cool. Right. Have a good one, guys. See you soon.
Take it easy.
Yep. Catch you later.